All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Panther Planet podcast. My name is Ellen. I'm an international studies major and a senior at UW Milwaukee.
My name's Alyssa, and I'm also a senior in global management and Italian.
My name is Maggie Cody. I'm a journalism major here at UWM, and I am also a senior.
I'm Jenny. I'm a second semester grad student here at UWM, and I'm studying translation and interpreting studies.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, we wanted to talk today about the great city of Milwaukee, the place that we all live. We've talked a lot about, just stuff outside and the world or like the country and comparing and all of that stuff, but we wanted to see how like different parts of the world are influenced in the city that we live in now. So before we dive in, we did want to say we're going to be talking about a lot of restaurants, museums, and festivals and things of that sort. And any of those businesses that we do shout out did not come to us and ask beforehand. There's no sort of sponsorship for it. We all just did a quick little Google on the internet to be like, what is this culture's influence in the city, and like different museums and restaurants and stuff. So yeah, it was just all of our research for it and not influenced by any establishment. All right. So going into that, I had the pleasure of talking about food because I love food. I love multicultural food, as does a lot of people, obviously. And there's so many different places in Milwaukee that have traditional ethnic food. And what's really cool is a lot of them are owned by people from those areas. It's not like corporate type of influence on it. It's like those families actually making it. I think one of the places that I want to shout out is La Merenda. I go there like all the time. I love it so much. They have tapas there, and this is what they say on the website. In Italian, la merenda means early snack and refers to an Italian custom of early evening socializing and gathering to share food and drink amongst friends and family. They also have a lot of locally sourced ingredients with it so that they collaborate with other communities. But there's dishes from so many different countries there. There's Spanish food, there's Italian food, food from Indonesia, food from Morocco. So good, so good. And like the fact that it's so many different cultures and you get to try so many different things, it's really, really cool. And looking at what the city of Milwaukee themselves has to say about the food and the places to get food in Milwaukee, they say, thanks to a diverse and vibrant community, Milwaukee is home to a wide variety of ethnic and internationally flavored restaurants. Many of the city's restaurants are brought to life by chefs sharing their own traditional cuisines with local visitors. From Puerto Rican to Ethiopian, Nepalese to Vietnamese, let your taste buds explore the flavors of Milwaukee. So obviously, when a lot of people think of ethnic food, they think of like Mexican Central America food, right? And I think one of the ones that I think come to mind is Bel Air because it's really close to campus, but there's so much more than that as well. There's a lot of places, some of the ones that they shout out was Conejitos, Botanas, which is Hispanic, Cubaitas, which is Cuban, and then Cafe Corazon, which has Mexican-inspired brunch. Have you guys ever been to any of those places?
No.
Yes.
Which one have you been to?
I've been to Botanas and Cafe Corazon.
Yeah.
They were both good from what I remember. Very
That's
good.
good. Yeah.
Do you remember what you got?
No, I don't remember.
Fair enough.
I haven't been in a while.
I love that. But when I was looking up like Mexican and Southern America places, there was at least 20 of them in the area too. So wherever you go, you're gonna get some good Mexican food wherever you go. And a lot of them were like south of the public Milwaukee or Milwaukee Public Market, like near the Mitchell Park Domes, that area. There's also good form or like lots of African restaurants. A couple that I saw were the Alem Ethiopian Village and the Ethiopian Cottage restaurant. I don't really get to African food a lot, but like there's a lot of places for that too. A lot of places from Europe as well. We got places from France, like La Rêve Pâtissier and Café, Italy, Ristorante Bartolotta, German, a lot of German food here because Milwaukee has a deep cultural heritage for German culture. So back to Bon and Matter's restaurant too. There's also Amalinda, which is Spanish and Portuguese. We also got a lot of Middle Eastern food in Milwaukee. A couple places that I saw while looking it up was in the Milwaukee Public Market. There is a restaurant or a shop called Aladdin Pita Works, too, where you can get some Middle Eastern food. Casablanca is another spot that I haven't been to, but a lot of my friends have been to and say that it's really good. Sabata is a family-owned restaurant, and actually Sababa is actually Arabic for awesome. That's what the restaurant said. So hopefully your food is awesome there. And I've also seen a lot of shawarma places around Milwaukee too.
Oh, yeah.
Love me some good shawarma. And the last kind of like thing that I want to mention was there's a good amount of Asian stuff too. There's also like several Asian markets too, so if you don't feel like going out to food, like get some locally like Asian food. There's the Asian International Market, there's the Myanmar Asian Market, and Viet Hoa. As well as if you're wanting to go out, there's Dynamite, which is a Thai restaurant, and then Hawaiian, which is Onokine Grits. So, yeah, that was all the restaurants and places that I saw. That a lot of them, a lot of information, a lot of restaurants that I found to get your multicultural dishes in.
Yeah, no kidding. A lot of recommendations there. So I researched the art scene within Milwaukee, and a lot of the resources that I saw were talking about how Milwaukee has such its own kind of art scene, and as much as there is international representation within it, Milwaukee's art culture in and of itself is very predominant, I guess, because I don't know, like just walking around the city, you can see a lot of buildings that have graffiti, well, not necessarily graffiti, but like murals on the sides and stuff like that. So I just thought that was really interesting. I'm not like super into the art scene in Milwaukee, but I thought it was cool that we are kind of known for it in a sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like I should start with the obvious one, the Milwaukee Art Museum. So the building was designed by Santiago Caltrava, a Spanish architect, and he designed what is known as like the Quadrici Pavilion. Not totally sure how to pronounce it, but he's designed hundreds of projects worldwide, and I feel like the Milwaukee Art Museum is kind of a landmark for Milwaukee.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
right on the lakefront, like, yeah, perfect.
And then when it like opens its wings,
Yeah.
it looks super cool.
Exactly, yeah.
I feel like it's definitely the iconic place to get your picture taken and where weddings and stuff happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Prom pictures were really
Yeah.
popular when I was in school.
But that's cool that it was like done by a Spanish architect too. Like
I
I
know.
didn't know that.
And, I mean, it was millions of dollars to build.
Yeah.
And it looks like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like designed buildings worldwide.
yeah,
like
he's like really
Australia.
famous.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
super famous.
But yeah, getting into their exhibits, the museum started as a showcase for Milwaukee arts and culture back in the early 1900s, but has transformed more into a cultural exhibition. They have rotating exhibits that reflect a multitude of cultures and experiences. The exhibits generally last for like 3 months, and then they normally just cycle through the next one. I don't know what their next exhibits are. I was looking on their website and they didn't have them up yet, but currently they're showing Scandinavian design in the United States spanning the last 100 years. And then another one they have is Native America in translation, and from what it looked like, it was like a modern take on different cultural components of Native Americans kind of modernized into today. I think it's more of a, what's the word for it? Sculptural thing rather than paintings, but really cool from the pictures that I saw. I didn't see a lot of it. And there was also a recent installation by Derek Adams. It's called Our Time Together. It's a multimedia wall installation, and it's kind of inspired by the idea that media shapes perspectives of different people. So he celebrates with his exhibit, with his wall, he celebrates rituals of everyday Black life and leisure. And it spans a lot of history, drawing from a couple artists who made social commentary through their art. His main inspiration was Victor Hugo Green's book. And sounds like a really interesting, so like that's an installation, so it's going to be there for a while. So whether this podcast is released when the other ones are out or not, you should still be able to see Derek Adams' Our Time Together. And then moving into the Marcus Performing Arts Center, for those of you who don't know, it's where a lot of musical theater is.
It's like where traveling Broadway shows
go.
go.
Like there's a lot of ballet and a lot of dance things and whatnot. But they have recently partnered up with Donald Driver, the previous Packer and current philanthropist, to provide access to the arts to underserved people within Milwaukee's community. He's part of a team that sets up activities and workshops for these people to gain access to resources and help break some stereotypes of the performing arts culture. Most recently, they hosted Step Africa. It was a 3-day residency where professionals came in and talked to these different people about their careers, gave advice, hosted workshops and self-help things, and then dance classes as well. And from what it looked like, a lot of people had a lot of fun with it. Donald Driver sounds like such an interesting individual.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was kind of looking into him, like, past his sports career, because I'm not super into that, but yeah, he's done some, like, remarkable things for Wisconsin. So if you're interested, I would consider looking that up. And then my last one is Latino Arts, Inc. It's the only fine arts establishment in Wisconsin dedicated to showcasing Latino culture and communicating it through art. It's on the south side of Milwaukee, and they're a nonprofit. They were established in 1986, and they dedicate most of their resources to the education of Latino art and culture and their role within Milwaukee's upcoming, basically. Their main goal was to educate the history of Latino culture that is often unrecognized in culture in Wisconsin and definitely worldwide. They host circulating exhibits like the Milwaukee Art Museum, and they host an event called Cafe con Arte that is a guided showcasing by the artistic director Jacobo Lovo. He talked about the history and then symbolism of the current exhibits, as well as churros and coffee while the tour is going on. They do both Spanish and English tours. They're at different times, and they're in the morning, so pretty early. So if you're not an early morning person, set some alarms, because it sounds like a really fun time. And then they also hold a Dios de los Muertos celebration with music by the Tres Souls. The Tres Souls have performed there for the past 3 years, and they perform songs from the genre bolero. Am I saying that right? Do you? Oh.
I don't
Anyways.
think I've heard of that genre, no.
Fair enough. Well, it's definitely like older kind of like Latino music with like, yeah. There's a lot of vintage Latino sounds and songs, and all of the artists within this group have had this kind of music in their family for 3 generations and have been performing and experimenting it to make it a little more modern. So for what it sounds like, it's a really fun time. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
It's cool that it's also like a different form of art as well.
Exactly, yeah. I agree with you. I think I feel like when I think of art, it's always just like a painting or like an art museum where a lot. Art encompasses like so many
so
things.
Definitely. So yeah, those are all really fun things to do. But one thing that Milwaukee I feel like is pretty famous for is its festivals. So most festivals happen down at the Henry Mayer Park, which is down by the lake.
Is it Summerfest? Or?
Yeah, it's like the Summerfest grounds.
Gotcha.
But cultural festivals have had like a long history in Milwaukee. So starting in the 1840s, when Milwaukee was more of an idea than a city, each like individual group would do their own celebrations for things like Independence Day, St. Patrick's Day parades, games for like different cultures. But when Milwaukee first started to do its festivals, its first official festival was called Mayfest in 1852 and was, of course, a German event because native Germans made up most of Milwaukee in 1852. It was a third of the population of Milwaukee. So that's like the largest ethnic group at the time. So this was the first official time that members of an ethnic group all came together to share customs and culture. And since then, Milwaukee has continued to do this. And obviously, lots more festivals have shown from lots of different cultures. So I'm specifically talking about ones that are going to be coming up like this summer going into next fall. So starting on June 3rd is Milwaukee's Highland Games, which is the Scottish festival. So you can hear bagpipe bands. There's great Scottish food, Highland dancing. You can go and pet sheepdogs and go to sheepdog shows. They have like unique athletic events for specifically to Scottish culture. They have parades, singing and dancing in the Seedley, which is like, I looked it up and it's like the Scottish dancing and you can learn how to do it and you can go, they have like events that you can go and dance with other people too.
That sounds kind of fun.
Yeah. And then the next one is Polish Fest, which happens from the 9th to the 11th. Polish Fest has like a proud history in Milwaukee. The Polish community like all gets together and puts this on. It's a really growing community within America and in the Milwaukee area in general, so it keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. Next is Greek Fest, which happens from June 23rd to the 25th. This is held by the Greek Orthodox Church, and it's actually not at the Henry Mayer Festival grounds. It's at the State Park Fair.
Ooh.
And it actually has free admission, so that's pretty cool.
Ooh.
And you can go and celebrate with like the Greek community. You can sample like the range of authentic cuisines and enjoy like traditional Greek music.
Yeah, we went like during the pandemic. They did like a drive-through Greek Fest at like the actual church. That was really cool. It was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. But anyways, then you could go and like drive through and they gave you like a bunch of food and it was so good.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but it was good.
I was like reading reviews on it and some people said that it was like the best gyro they had in their entire lives.
Yeah, it was super good.
I need to go.
I know. Just in general, I feel like also the churches in Milwaukee are so beautiful and have like a lot of culture behind them as well.
That's so true.
Sorry, that was a little sidetrack there. But the next festival is Bastille Days, which is from July 13th through the 16th. This is the French festival. So this summer, it's their 40th year. So it's an anniversary, and you can go and storm the Bastille, which is basically just like a run walk is what I have gathered. They have great food, entertainment, and also they're doing a new fresh twist, which I don't know what that means, so I guess you might have to go and find out.
I remember going there last year. My friend and I were just walking around town, like downtown area, and then we just stumbled upon it. Had some really good beignets, all the good
Crepes.
stuff.
Yes.
Crepes.
We always get crepes.
Oh,
Heck yeah.
it was so good and so fun. There's like a mini Eiffel Tower
they
that
have a
you can
mini
take
Eiffel
a
Tower.
photo.
That's so
And like when
fun.
I was going there too, there was like little kids doing ballet on the stage. They had a stage there, and there were like little kids doing ballet.
Yeah.
And it was so cute to see like these little like leotard kids like doing ballet and stuff. They're better than when I did ballet, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, I feel like all of these have like the traditional types of dancing that like come because there are lots of like dance studios within Milwaukee too that
Yeah.
like
Yes.
teach you traditional like Italian dancing, Greek, so I'm sure that this is like a time where they get to like showcase what they've learned
Yeah.
and stuff too. So I know this is the one that I've heard the most of is German Fest, and it's from July 28th to the 30th. This is like one of the most like popular festivals in Milwaukee. Obviously there's a big German population that lives in Milwaukee, but it was established in 1981, and it's just a way to celebrate German culture and traditions. But yeah, this is called a Milwaukee tradition.
Yeah, German Fest is fun. We go every year.
Yeah.
I like it.
I feel like when I was like reading about it, obviously the first festival that ever happened was like a German fest too, and so the people who do it take like a lot of pride in putting it on too. It
Yeah.
sounds like.
Yeah, they definitely do. I know a lot of people who work with German Fest to like run the food stands or like
Yeah.
there's a lot of German dancing groups in Milwaukee. So they're
Yes.
like really excited to perform for German Fest.
And then the next one is Milwaukee's Irish Fest, which is from August 17th to the 20th. This started in 1981. This is another one of the like biggest festivals that happens on these grounds, and it is actually the largest celebration of Irish culture in the world.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
apparently.
I did not know that.
But the festival includes doing performance from like local Milwaukee and Irish dance groups, music from nearly 250 artists from around the world, sung in both Irish and English, stages for Keeley dancing, which again is just like traditional Irish dancing, and then there's an area where you can also learn how to do the dance. Which I didn't know what Keeley dancing was, so I gave it a quick Google, and in its basic form, it simply means it's a social visit, but now in contemporary usage, they use it for dancing and playing, like, the Gaelic folk music.
Is it kind of like the river dancing?
Yeah, but it's like I want to say it's kind of like square dancing, but it's not like square dancing.
Okay.
Fair enough.
A little collaboration between square dancing and river dance.
Yeah.
Got it.
But authentic Irish cuisine, you can like play Irish sports, which apparently they have like one called like curling and one called.
Oh, my grandpa played curling.
Yeah, I was
Love
trying to
curling.
Google. I was gonna try and explain it, but then I
It's
realized
kind of like you have this like ice sheet or whatever.
no. It's
not
a
that
different type
curling?
of
Different
curling.
type of curling?
Yeah, it's yeah.
Never mind that.
Yeah, it's sort of like I tried to Google how do you play it, but
Is it hurling or curling? Oh,
Hur-
wait.
I think it's curling, but maybe it's hurling.
Yeah, because like when I look up Irish curling,
It might be hurling.
hurling. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, wait a minute. So it's kind of like
Is that the thing with the
Lacrosse.
pole?
It's like
Yeah.
but it's like a stick that looks like it has like a ping pong stick on the end, but it's like a longer like.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I see.
And then there's like field goals, and the
Yeah.
ball is called something
Oh
else
my
too.
gosh,
I was
yes.
gonna try and explain it, and now I've just tried to
You
explain it.
piqued our
and it's-
interest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to put up some images of
Yeah.
it so that people can understand.
it kind of looks like
It's an outdoor team game. Trying to see if there's a good description.
It reminds me of those like
Looks
dog
like-
toys that you see people in the
Yes.
park with, where it's like a
Just
stick
throw it, yeah.
and a cup, and then they can throw
Yes.
the ball super far for the dog.
Yes. And they also have their own type of football. It's called like Gaelic football, which I don't know how that differs
Oh yeah,
from like
I've heard of that, but
our
I don't know
football.
how it's different.
Yeah. So, but you can go and learn and play at
I know
Irish Fest
rugby
if
is
you
also a
want.
big thing there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also have like a 5K one run/walk you can do. There's poetry and photography contests, and most of these festivals actually have on Sunday they do like a religious service from like whatever like church that goes hand in hand with it in Milwaukee, because there's lots of like cultural churches as well in Milwaukee. But next is Mexican Fiesta, which happens from August 25th to the 27th. And this Mexican Fiesta brings like the sound, culture, and taste of Mexico to Milwaukee. And you can join in the fun and celebration, and they have food, mariachi, fiesta, and fun for everyone. So
Everyone.
Milwaukee Fiesta, they say, is more than a celebration. It's a declaration of the community and spirit of Mexico at its best. So seems like a cool place. And then finally is Fiesta Italiana, which is from September 8th through the 10th. And it's held annually since 1978. It doesn't happen on the fairgrounds, though. It happens at the Italian Community Center, which is right next to the fairgrounds. It's the first representation of like modern festivals that have happened in Milwaukee. It's to help recapture the spirit of like the vanishing Italian community that is in Milwaukee. But you can eat your way through the festival with rice balls, lasagna on a stick, cannolis, and so much more.
Lasagna on a stick.
Yeah.
Is it how do you keep it together?
I
don't know.
I don't know,
I
but
feel like out of all the things, that's
Maybe
such
there's
a...
like multiple sticks.
yeah.
and then you can sip on Italian spirits and wine and watch like the performances of dancers and flag throwers, and they say straight from Italy. So
Well,
Dang.
That's fun.
cool.
I did go to that one last year.
I was gonna say, have you guys been to any of these festivals? Most of
Yeah, I've
them.
been to
I-
most of them.
I unfortunately haven't been to them, so this summer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, we
gonna-
got
Yeah.
the list for you.
Yeah,
we
we
got
got
the
the
list. We got the dates.
I
I
definitely.
mean, like, I always drive past them. So,
Yeah.
wait, no, I did go to the French Festival last year.
Yes.
That's right. I did go to
Yeah.
that one. But, like, when I would drive home from work, I saw the Irish Festival going on. I'm like, ooh, sounds fun.
It's definitely hard with them being on weekends and stuff too. If you like work in
Yeah.
like if you work in a service industry job, you're usually
Yeah.
working at the same time that those events are like happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
So that-
I was a server
Yeah, I was gonna say, it makes it
last
difficult.
summer, so that definitely, but not anymore. We got all the weekends free.
I went to the Festa Italiana, and yeah, there was a major focus on like Italians within Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Like they had
Yes.
this huge room of just vintage pictures up on the wall. It was really cool to like walk through and see all of them.
Yeah.
I know
And-
that even like the community centers for like I know at least the Italian has a community center, and the Polish group has like a community center, really focused on like trying to like connect you back to like your history and stuff too in general. And I think that the Italian community center also has a restaurant.
It does. My
in
grandma
it.
and I used to go there when I was a little
Yes.
kid, like every day, because she worked across the street at the time. And so we'd go there like a lot, and they knew her really well at that restaurant. So I
Yeah.
have fond memories of that restaurant.
No kidding. That sounds so good. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
It's
so
a really
fun.
good restaurant. At least it used to be. I haven't been there in like 15 years, but
Fair enough. I feel like COVID changed a lot of that too.
Definitely.
yeah, because Festa Italiana used to be at the Summerfest grounds before the pandemic too, so it was like huge.
I mean, it's only like a couple blocks
Yeah,
away
it's
now,
like 3
but-
blocks away
Yeah.
now, but
But it's still cool that like even after COVID, these things are still happening.
Yeah.
As like
Definitely.
strong as they are, and how they highlight cultures within the community too.
Yeah.
Yes. I
People
think
hold
it's-
them important.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's like an important thing to like understand and like go and experience, especially if you're like, I mean, I feel like in America it's really easy to get like lose touch with the culture of like your
Yeah.
family's past, and it's like a cool way to like, without even leaving like the greater area, you can go and experience the like culture that your family is like from, and not even having to go to Germany or Italy
Yeah.
or, you know.
yeah.
I agree.
And also like if you're not from that culture, learning about that culture from that.
Yeah,
In
definitely.
a fun way too.
No, yeah,
It's not like a
definitely.
history class or whatever where you sit and learn about it. Like
you just get to eat food.
Yeah,
and
get to
watch
eat
food,
food,
listen to music, yeah.
and try cool dances.
And meet people from that community that live in
Yeah.
Milwaukee too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm sure that that's a great way if you're also like new to coming to like the USA or Milwaukee in general, and finding like a community of people that have similar
Yeah.
interests and background as you, is a really easy way to connect.
That's so true. I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah. Okay, so I am going to talk about multiculturalism here on the UWM campus. First, there's like a couple of student centers that are specifically for students of their respective heritages and cultures. There's the American Indian Student Center, the Black Student Cultural Center, the Roberto Hernandez Center, which is for Latino and Hispanic students, and the Southeast Asian American Student Center. And they like help with getting scholarships, financial aid, internships, advising, all that. But then they also have like a lot of fun events, so I'm gonna talk about some of those now. The American Indian Student Center has like a lot of potlucks apparently, which they didn't really say what kind of food, but you know, food, my interest is piqued.
Absolutely.
And then they had like a lot of volunteer opportunities to work with the greater community, and then they also had a lot of artist talks on their calendar, like from Native American artists that would like come in and talk to students about their work and, you know, showpiece what they're doing. So I thought that sounded pretty cool, because
That is really cool.
Yeah.
like, I don't know, I've always found Native American art to be really interesting.
Same.
I
It's
agree
like
with you.
really pretty and intricate a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Black Student Cultural Center has like, they have a lot of Black History Month activities, and then diversity career centers. Hold on, there's something in my eye.
Take care of it.
And then they have summits and symposiums for students to like talk about their racial issues and community issues, so that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, that they have a safe space to
Mm-hmm.
talk about that and talk with people
Yeah.
who are also experiencing that, so that
Yeah,
they know,
definitely.
like, seek some insight from it.
Yeah. And then they had a monthly anime night that I saw on their calendar where they just watch anime together and socialize and eat snacks. So, you know, that's like a
That's so fun.
fun,
That is.
casual event to meet some people who are like you.
Yeah, no pressure.
Yeah, definitely. And then the Roberto Hernandez Center had a graduation gala for their students, and I saw pictures and they were like all dressed like super fancy, you know, like black tie looking, and I was like, ooh, that looks kind of fun.
That does
I don't
sound
know what it
fun.
was really. They didn't really describe it, but I mean, it looked like it was just like a dinner and a
I was
dancing.
gonna say, when I
and-
think of a gala, I think of like going to get a fancy dinner with everyone,
yeah, a fancy
and then
dinner and
going to like maybe a dance of some sort.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
There
Like,
has to be at least 3 cheers where
Yes.
someone...
yeah, exactly.
Clink, clink, clink.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yep. Definitely. And then they had a lot of student-led talks too, like the Black Student Cultural Center, so that's good. And then they had a bunch of movie screenings too. There aren't any coming up, so I couldn't see what kind they have because the calendar like disappears after it's already happened, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they said they have movie screenings, so that's something to check out next fall if anyone is around. But you guys won't be.
We'll be graduated.
Graduated.
And then finally, the Southeast Asian American Student Center had like a lot of really cool looking stuff. They had game nights to just play games, board games. They celebrated like all the New Years. They had Lunar New Year, they had Hmong New Year, and then there's like I think it's like a combined thing, Thai, Lao, and Cambodian New Year, like all together. And they were like, the Thai, Lao, and, no, I think it was the Hmong. The Hmong one, they were like dressed in like their traditional dress, and it was like, the women had like black dresses with really fancy embroidery on like the sleeves and the hems of the dresses, and then like super fancy giant like necklaces that had like a lot of like dangling gems of some sort. I don't know if they were diamonds or
Those
not.
outfits are always so cool.
I know.
When I
love
see them and how
traditional
much
outfits.
work
They're
they
so
go
cool.
into them.
Yeah, definitely.
They look so intricate.
They're like
and,
so intricate.
Mhm.
And then like with that, they also host like fiber arts and cross stitch events, so you can like learn how to do that kind of thing.
So
That's
is that
so
like
cool.
embroidery?
Yeah, so like cross stitch is like embroidery, but
Okay.
not
hands.
quite. It's
Yeah.
like, well, like embroidery you can do by
Oh,
hand.
yeah.
But like,
I knew that.
yeah, but, or a machine if you want. My grandma does that. But cross stitch is like embroidery, but you make X's with the stitches.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
My mom
Gotcha.
does cross stitch
Yeah,
all the
my
time. She
mom
has
used
like
to.
little pattern things that we'll have hanging
yeah,
around
they have
our
like,
wall.
I don't know, they're like paint by number looking
Yes.
things
Yeah,
to
Yes.
me.
that's what my mom does. Type
Yeah.
Of thing.
And you can put them on like t-shirts and stuff too, even.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, they had spring roll making night, so they would like teach you how to make spring rolls.
Dang
So
it.
that sounds
I know.
good.
Missed it.
Yeah, that sounded really fun. I was like, spring rolls. I want to do that. So yeah, that's all the student centers. But then we also have a lot of film, a lot of multicultural film. We're like a big film school. So then there's a lot of different cultures, and they have like a bunch of different film series specifically. So they had the Latin American film series this spring. I don't know the dates. I forgot
think
to
it's
write
actually
them down.
coming up.
I was
yeah,
gonna
you're
say,
right.
I thought I
It's
got
gonna
news
say-
It's
about
coming
it.
up. It's coming up. That's
Yeah,
right.
I'm pretty sure.
coming up.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
posted about
For
it.
us right now, whether or not it's going to be when it's
Yeah.
uploaded.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Debatable.
mid-April right now, and
Yes.
it's coming up soon. But I was looking, I wanted to highlight like one movie from each film festival. So for the Latin American film series, there's one of them was El Perro que no calla, the dog who wouldn't be quiet. And it's about a man who loses his job because his dog keeps barking. And I don't know how that has anything to do with anything, but
Was it like a remote position where it's
I
like he
have
was on
no
the
idea.
phone?
It didn't say, but then
Maybe?
like his life kind of like goes into a turmoil because losing your job is traumatic, and then for like years he just works odd jobs and all that, but he kind of settles down and he gets a family and friends and he's calmed down, and then until, and I'm quoting here, air quotes, existence on Earth is totally altered by a phenomenon from outer space, transforming the film into a dystopian satire about the future we will leave to new generations.
I might have to check that out. That sounds so interesting. What a plot twist.
And this one, like, a lot of them you have to go, like, see them, like, in the Union or something. But this one, it was one of the ones that they have available online, I think. So,
movie night, guys.
yes.
No kidding.
Very fun. And then there was the Festival of Films in French sometime this spring. Again, I didn't write dates down. I should have.
That happened, like, in February.
Okay, February. That sounds about right. And there was an opera ballet that was written in 1735 called La Sonne Galante. My French is terrible. But
better than mine.
So yeah, I don't know exactly what it was about, but it sounded interesting. They had it said they had professional ballet dancers in it. And
I was just gonna ask, is that done by UWM, or is it?
I think it was
people who come in and
I
perform?
think it was a French production, and then they filmed it.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
now they're showing it here at UWM. I think that's how it
Duh,
worked.
we're talking about movies.
No problem. Because it's in ballet, you think of live ballet. Mm-hmm. But that's cool that you can bring it to people here. Because a lot of the time ballet is live, but that makes it
so much
more accessible for people, Because the ballet people think of being as really expensive and fancy and a whole thing.
Have to
it's
dress
almost like
up
the
for
opera.
it.
Yeah, definitely. Because, it's an opera ballet, so it combines opera and ballet.
Jeez, that sounds so high class.
I know, it's ooh, black tie, put on your fancy dress, but you don't
I can
have
sit in my
to.
sweats and watch it.
Sit in your sweats and watch it here. And then there was the African American film series. That was during Black History Month. And they showed a documentary called Messwood. And that was about the combined Messmer and Shorewood High School football teams. So those are local teams. Shorewood High School is right down, it's on Capitol and Oakland, so it's 5 minutes from here. And then Messmer is on Capitol and Port Road, so that's 10, 15-ish minutes. It's right by my house. But so there's this documentary about how both of the schools decided to combine their football teams because neither of them had that much
Had enough players?
Yeah, exactly. They didn't have enough players, I think. And then, so they combined in 2001, and then in 2018, they made a documentary about it. And it dealt with a lot of the racial issues because Messmer is a Catholic high school and is mostly black students, and Shorewood is a public high school and is mostly white students. So there's some racial tension, and they were talking about how the students playing handle that in addition to being teenagers and
no kidding
handling that.
Do you know if that movie was made by someone at UWM? Or
I
if it was
don't think so.
Okay.
What was
It was
called?
Messwood, Mess Wood. I don't think so. I looked it up and it sounded like it was just people who were interested in it. But it was at they showed it at a major documentary film festival. So, I mean, it sounded like it was pretty successful.
Yeah. It sounds like both of the directors are not natives to Wisconsin.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Not that they don't live here now, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we come to foreign language here at UWM. We teach 19 languages, which is pretty
Sheesh.
cool. I didn't know we taught that many. I mean,
I know we taught a
either.
lot, but
Yeah,
not that many.
Yeah, definitely. So they teach the usual French, German, Spanish, but then they offer a lot of what's called less commonly taught languages. There's Hmong, and then Irish Gaelic.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I did not even I've never heard of like a student here learning that.
I saw posters
I was gonna
for
say
an
there
event.
was posters recently.
They asked me to put up some posters down in the LRC, so I did, but I didn't know that we had it. So that's cool.
That is really cool.
Ojibwe language, so that's really cool that we teach
Yeah.
a Native American language that they speak here in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Portuguese, which as we know, Sam was involved with Portuguese.
Mm-hmm.
I think my sibling's friend is studying Portuguese
Okay.
too,
Nice.
and did a study abroad in Brazil type of thing. So
Nice.
Yeah. And then there's ancient Greek.
I did know that.
I knew we
That's
taught
so
that, but it's
cool.
I don't know, it's kind of cool.
it's
that
not
for-
very common.
It's not that common. We had it at Madison, I think, but, not that many people take it because it's it's an ancient language.
Yeah, no kidding. So would it mostly be used more for translation than it would be for speaking, kind of a
I
thing?
think so.
I think it
Kind
would
of
be
like
used
Latin.
for reading,
Historical.
mostly.
Yeah,
reading
reading.
documents and stuff like
Gotcha.
that.
There's a classmate in one of my translation classes. Our focus is German, but he was taking an ancient Greek class, and he's involved in a Catholic church somehow.
Okay.
So he reads a lot of religious
I was
texts.
gonna say Greek is a very for a
So-
lot of different religions.
Yeah. So I think, that's cool. And then we teach ASL, which we're the only school in Wisconsin, the only college or university in Wisconsin that teaches ASL.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
In my undergrad at Madison, they were always talking about how they really wanted to teach ASL, but they can't get anyone to teach it. So they could only offer an ASL culture class, which taught the culture of ASL and deaf people, but they couldn't actually teach ASL. They would do a little bit of learning, but there was no system of learning the language. So that's really cool that we offer it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just in general, Milwaukee has a lot of opportunities in different culture majors and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I know a lot of people come for the global studies program because there's not really anything like that in the Midwest. And just in general, we teach a lot more languages than
Yeah, I think
a
for
lot
me
of
one of the big
colleges.
things that Milwaukee highlighted was you can do things in global studies outside of teaching type of thing, and history,
Yeah.
all those type of things. There's
Yes.
more to it than just teaching
yeah.
type of thing, which was
Definitely.
really sparking my eye because a lot of Midwestern colleges didn't really have the opportunity to
Yeah.
do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then, the languages have a lot of fun events for their students. I can speak a lot on the German department. We have game nights every other Thursday, so we just come and play board games. Well, they're not really board games. They're more card games, word games that are in German, so then it gives students a fun chance to speak German.
Do you guys play Dutch Blitz?
No, but I do love that game.
I love Dutch
That's a
Blitz.
fun game.
So much. Love that game. Anyway, go on.
So, yeah, it's a nice opportunity for students to converse in German without, being in a classroom.
Yeah.
Because, classroom language is a lot different than just casual
So true.
language, and it's really important that students get an opportunity for that.
For sure.
So then we also have a lunch hour every other Thursday. So we have game nights every other Thursday and lunch hour on the other Thursday. And that's just another chance for them to talk and be casual, make friends. The professors come, the TAs and I come. So everyone mingles casually and gets to know each other. And then we have movie screenings for our students on certain Mondays during the spring. I don't know which ones because I don't usually go. But just because I don't
being
have
honest.
time. I just don't have time. They sound like really cool movies. I just, it's another thing to go to. But then I know the Russian department has a lot of similar activities. They have game nights. They have a conversation hour. Here in the Oasis, I know they have movie screenings for their students. The Irish Gaelic department had like an Irish immersion weekend recently where students like went to like some conference center thing or something, I think, and then they just like talked in Irish Gaelic, I guess, and did like Irish activities. It sounded cool.
Yeah.
But so
Maybe they did
Kind of
hurling.
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe.
could be.
You never know.
Yeah.
I know that the Italian and French department also have a lot of similar activities. I know, like, in Italian we have, like, Il Circolo, which is, like, just, like, a meeting to, like, learn about something.
Oh yeah, I've
Like,
seen signs for
Yes, and then I know that they have, like, French table, which is just, like, conversating
Yeah.
in French.
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So many ways to get immersed in new cultures in
Yeah.
Milwaukee.
When you were talking about like the different film like series that come through in the union,
Mm-hmm.
the Milwaukee Film Festival is coming up, and that's
yeah.
also like a very
Yeah.
Yeah.
multicultural thing as well.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
They have a lot of different movies showing from very different perspectives, and so yeah, I think that's also a very multicultural artistic thing Milwaukee has to offer once a year.
Yeah.
I think it's for almost a month, or at least
It's
3
for a while.
weeks.
it's like long, yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention it's at the Oriental, which is a staple within the
Yeah.
Yes.
Milwaukee
and it's
film
really close to
community.
UWM.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
I know that also the Italian Film Festival is coming up in the end of April, if you're interested in that. And all of the movies from the film festivals are usually in the original language, but always have the
yeah.
English subtitles.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, that's a
even
good
if
thing to
you,
point out.
like don't know the language, you can go and watch the movie and have like no problems.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because a lot of like movies that aren't American made are done very differently too. So that like not only are you just like watching it for like the film itself, you're also just like the way that they're made is like very different from the movies I feel like that we're shown in like mainstream media.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
true.
Yeah.
I feel like also a lot of other countries watch the movies that are produced here in like Hollywood and whatnot, but I feel a lot of, at least from my own perspective, I don't see a lot of people I know like watching foreign films that often.
Right.
I feel like it's very one-sided in that sense.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Absolutely.
that's not a rule, it's just
No,
like what I've kind of observed.
It's interesting because, like, yeah, we have Hollywood and that's really big, but other countries produce movies too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no kidding.
Cool. Well, that's all we had today.
Yeah.
Unless anyone else had anything.
No, not at
No.
all.
Well, thanks for listening, and we'll be back soon.
Yeah. Come to Milwaukee, or if you're already here, try to
Yeah.
dive into some culture here.
Go to a festival this summer.
Exactly.
Yeah, go to a festival,
Go to a
film
restaurant.
series.
Go to the museums. On the
Talk to
all that
people.
jazz.
And yeah.
Go watch some movies.
Go
Exactly.
watch some movies.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.